What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be looking at making a custom Huttslayer Leia. I'm going to be using these three bodies to try to make this. I really wanted to do this ever since the 40th stuff started coming out, especially Jabba. When Jabba came out, I was like, I need a Huttslayer Leia to go on the throne. And the old one's just so expensive that I thought it'd probably be cheaper and look better if I made my own. So I'm using the Yavin Leia's arms and the new pinless legs that came with the Ewok Village Leia. And of course the A New Hope Leia torso. I think with all of these coming out, that really made me go for this because they all have pinless limbs. So this will be a completely pinless Huttslayer Leia. And hopefully she will fit in perfectly with the more modern figures. So let's go through real quick what I did to get here. Alright, to make the Huttslayer Leia's base body, we're going to be using the upper torso and waist of the A New Hope Leia, the arms of the Yavin Leia, just because they're pinless, and then we might end up using the Endor Leia's legs, because they are also pinless. These three should give us a full pinless body to use. Okay, so one problem I run into is this arm peg is way bigger than the one that is usually on her. So I'm just going to drill out a little bit to try to get that hole a bit bigger to see if it'll fit. I've 3D printed some of the pieces. Here's the piece for the upper arm. And that's not glued. That's just stuck on there so I can get it off later. I did glue this one. I probably should have waited, but it's okay. This bottom part of this arm. The legs, though. I'm working on these, and you can already see how bad this looks. So I've had to cut up this leg quite a bit to try to get it to fit in this boot naturally. I didn't want to make the boot any bigger either because I wanted to still keep the articulation in the ankle. And so for that to work, this bottom part's going to have to be able to fit over that top part. So the bigger I make this, the bigger I'm going to make the shoe, and the worse it's going to look in the end. So I opted to just keep dremeling until I got it where it needed to be. And I'm going to glue it together and then go back and use some sculpt to kind of fix wherever it's gapped up. I'm going to have to repaint it anyways because the skin tones are pretty different. So I think I'm going to have to repaint the whole body. And I'm going to have to take a lot away from that to get it to fit. But let me do that and I'll show. Here's the bra piece. So that is ready to be glued on. I don't know if it fits perfectly, but I mean, it wasn't really made for this body, so I think that's about as good as I might get it, unless I'd go back and re-sculpt some stuff, which I really don't want to do. So that's about as good as it's going to get. I think I can glue it where it'll follow the bottom of the body, so when it's all together, it will look a little bit more, a little bit better. But let me do this other leg, and then I'll glue everything together and show you. So I have the flesh tone all painted out. And I have the pieces glued on now. I was really trying to match this Leia, the Yavin Ceremony Leia, I think her skin tone I like the best out of all Leia, so I'll pick this one to try to match. And I think I got kind of close. I'm going to try to... It was really like, I used a bunch of different skin tones to try to get close. But if you wanted to paint this and didn't want to mix a bunch of skin tones, I would just use like this basic skin tone from Vallejo. But I'll try to list all of the skin tones I used here and the amounts. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and paint all of the green parts, this olive green. I'll put the picture of the Hasbro on here, and then this is a head I painted with olive green. And so I think they're pretty close. I don't know if it's supposed to be bronze or gold, so I think I'm going to mix the two and see if that looks pretty good on all of the trim parts. I know when I plug these in together that it's going to rub really bad, so I'm going to have to go back and Dremel away a bunch in there just to try to keep it from chipping. I still haven't done the underwear part. I just gotta keep resizing it till I get something that fits. And the heads, I messed up the head, so I'm reprinting that. But let me paint up the green and maybe the trim, and I'll show you where I'm at. So I got the gold and the olive green pieces painted. I think the green, or not gold, it's bronze, but I think the green was a little bit too dark. But I'm okay with it. This part's really small, so my lines aren't perfect, but I painted that bronze as well. It turned out more gold. I'm using this one, the Wicked Colors. Oh, there it is. Metallic bronze. I've been using this one, and it does not apply very well. This is probably like 4 or 5 coats just to get this saturated. I've already clear coated this. I did the legs too. I painted her on some underwear just because I know the fabric's going to cover most of it, but I don't want any upsets happening. These turned out okay. They're not the cleanest, but like I said, the bronze, you have to do like 3 or 4 coats. And so it's hard to get it a consistent color. I dremeled out this part. I haven't even tested these since I painted everything. But just to be safe, I dremeled out that part. Also, I don't know if I talked about it earlier, I had to dremel out a little bit there, just so there's no rub anywhere on the leg when I'm moving around. You can see the legs turned out pretty good. And the knees, I'm surprised. I tried not to paint those at all, just to leave the bare plastic. But I think I ended up putting a coat on them, but they're not chipping at all. I'm super excited about that. The elbows, though, do chip a bit. But I mean, from front on, it's not really noticeable. I don't know how that one's separated. But if you get right on it, you can see where it's starting to chip a little bit up there. I bought this fabric to try to make her skirt piece. I think I'm just going to cut a slice and glue it onto the front and the back, and then I'll glue on the bikini bottom piece just to cover that. I just finished printing I printed a bunch of these bottom pieces, and they're always just a little bit off, so I'm hoping one of these will fit. These are all different sizes. Also, I have to do the head, of course. I've tried printing these a couple times, and I didn't get ports removed very well. So I'm going to take my time with these. Also, I wanted one of each. So they have the headpiece with the hair coming straight down. And then there's the headpiece with the hair coming off to the side. For the bronze, I usually paint it black and then bronze. It helps it pop. So there's the arm piece. I'm waiting to paint that with these. And then it'll be done. That's going to go up here on the upper arm. So for the fabric, I have a problem of it fraying when I glued it on. So I put some of this fabric glue around the edges. I just taped off how much I would need, and hopefully that holds it all together. I heated up this bottom part, and I slid them on there and made a mark where they're probably going to be. I cut up one piece of fabric already. I need to do a second one. but I'm just going to try to glue this piece under that mark. I can just slide this over the top and maybe glue this piece down. It's pretty good fit, so it might not need any glue. Also, I'll show this later, but I painted some fishing line to use as the straps on the bra. We've made it almost to the finale. I showed in the last part how I glued the edges of this piece, and I came back and did the very bottom and the top, and hopefully that keeps it from fraying. I know it's still kind of fraying in some spots, but I think that's because I cut it a little bit too far from that edge. So hopefully that fixes itself. I didn't glue on this bottom piece. I don't know if I will. I'm kind of scared to put glue on this because I don't want to ruin it because it came out so well. The body. You can see the arm piece when I slid it on, it was a little bit too small. So I actually was smarter here by gluing it on then painting it, because this one I ruined. And I'm probably going to touch up the skin paint there because I wanted it to come up to here, but it was not going past her bicep. So I'll print that a little bit bigger. It shouldn't take long. The last things I need to do, I printed more heads. I've tried to get a good print for a while. These ones I printed like this. So if you can see this, these sculpts that I'm printing have really good details in the eyes, and I want to keep those. So I printed it up like this. It's going to mess up the hair, but I think it'd be better to keep the face better. Those should just click on like that. I think that looks pretty good. I had to size them up a little bit. So I need to paint the heads and finish that armband, and I'll be good. Also, I'm going to glue the strings on. I'll show you when I got the body completely together. So for the heads, I started off with the base printed head, and then I painted it that flesh tone I've been using for the body. And then I went in and used this color to kind of highlight around the eyes and the cheeks and the forehead, the brown rose. I did 4 of them just in case I messed up somewhere. And then I painted on the eyes and the lips. That took forever, but turned out pretty good. And then I hit the eyebrows and the hair. The eyebrows should be a little bit lighter. I went back on those. And the hair, I had to paint the gold parts. Here is the finished product. I went back and I printed that like collar piece just at that last minute. The head, I showed a little bit in the last part. I put a little gloss coat on the eyes and just over the lips. And it doesn't really pop on camera, but it helps the eyes and the lips stand out a little bit more. That piece I went back and painted. I don't think I showed that. Another thing, I glued down these bottom pieces, and you can see now they rub, which I figure would happen, which is why I was avoiding that. But I can just take a little isopropyl alcohol and maybe clean that up a little bit. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Actually, I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's still a little bit of fraying. You can see that glue where I didn't cut close enough to the glue. It's fraying still a bit. But I mean, I still have all the articulation. The feet I hot glued in. And they don't go up as much as I would like, but they go back plenty. The legs, I'm kind of scared to move them too much. They don't kick out much. They do kick forward and back. You can see the rubbing still. I need to clean that up. The waist, or this upper torso piece, goes all the way to the side, so I can kind of get her laying there. And then the arms work just as they should. And the elbows. The legs kick up too, that much. And a little bit and it rotates. The head does not move hardly at all. I could probably pull it off and kind of get a little bit, but the neck you can see is sculpted too far. so you're not going to get any rotation out of it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe. I'm hopefully posting more videos now. I got kind of backed up and start working on too many things at once. So hopefully I have more videos coming out more frequently. So go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And check me out on Instagram and TikTok. Both should be Looper Customs. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.